Today marks a really important milestone for me. So this video is part of an entire series called Better You, backed by science. So every week I write an email and I make a video that I post on YouTube. And this is week 52. I've been doing it for an entire week. The first week the email went out to about 100 people. It's round about 3,000 people receive it now. So there'll be 52 emails, and I was going to say 52 videos, but actually 50 videos. You know, life happens, doesn't it? And a couple of times over the last year, I've just, so many things going on, life, family, work commitments, and I just ran out of time in creating the videos on 2 of those weeks. So 52 emails, 50 videos. And we've covered a lot of subjects, from helping you to think better, to feel better, to feel more confident, to live better, to age better, everything really to help you ultimately. But there's one thing, despite everything I've ever learned, there's an undercurrent to so much of what I write. 4 of my 12 books actually dedicated to it. There's an undercurrent of kindness. Because I think no matter what I've learned in life, kindness is so important, because it brings smiles to people's faces. It also helps us to build relationships and to create the type of environment, whether at home, at work, in our communities, that we can thrive in, and then put into practice everything we learn through Better You, backed by science. If you don't have the environment to enjoy life, then life becomes a wee bit more tough, I suppose. So kindness helps us to build relationships, to sculpt our lives and communities and our environments. It's really, really important. So I wanted to mark week 52 by dedicating this video to the subject of kindness, by sharing some absolutely fascinating science. Right off the cuff, I want to say your body does not stay neutral when you are kind. There's loads and loads of different things that happen, but let me share one study with you. One of my favourite kindness studies, when researchers randomised 182 people into 3 groups, and in each week for 4 weeks, they asked one group to do 3 acts of kindness on one day of the week. They asked one kindness to others. They asked another group to do 3 acts of self-kindness, so things for themselves. And just as a control group, comparison group, they asked another group, the rest of them, to just note down 3 events. Now, what was astonishing is when they took blood samples at the beginning and at the end of this time period, they found in those who'd been kind to others, there was an impact on the genetic activity of circulating immune cells. Isn't that extraordinary? Think about what that is. You've got immune cells circulating around your bloodstream, and being kind to people had impacted the genetic behaviour of those cells. Head blown. Isn't that absolutely incredible? In the way that it impacted the genetic activity of these circulating immune cells was in an anti-inflammatory way, but also that seemed to boost natural antiviral activity. That is astonishing. Your body does not stay neutral when you are kind. Kindness literally tilts the biochemistry of your brain and in your body in a very important direction. Literally the opposite from stress. If you think of stress tilts the biochemistry of your body, that brain and body that way, then kindness tilts the biochemistry of your brain and body in the opposite direction, which leads to what I generally refer to as the 5 side effects of kindness, which is also the title of one of my books, incidentally. Number 1, kindness improves mental health. Kindness actually makes us happier. It changes the chemistry of our brain, even changes the fine structure of our brain when kindness becomes consistent in very important, meaningful ways that help us feel happier and become more resistant to events that can lead to negative impacts on our mental health. Number 2, kindness is good for the heart. Kindness literally lowers blood pressure, but it also causes physiological effects that support overall cardiovascular function, even helping to reduce to literally expand our blood vessels, causing therefore a reduction in blood pressure and even sweeping all the crap, some of the crap out of our blood vessels. Crap, that's obviously the technical term for things called free radicals and inflammation, which actually are counteracted by kindness inside our blood vessels. Number 3, kindness slows aging. Well, that's a bit of a no-brainer, because if you think about what stress does to the aging process, accelerates it, then kindness is physiologically opposite to stress. So kindness does a lot of the opposites. What's really nice is scientists have actually figured some of this stuff out. There's impacts on the immune system, obviously the cardiovascular system, but even right down to the genetic level. Scientists comparing kindness and compassion-based meditation versus standard mindfulness meditation actually find a slowing of the rate of telomere attrition. These are wee end caps in our DNA whose rate of loss is a very strong indicator of the rate of biological aging. So literally being kind to others, it's not just impacting the genetic activity of immune cells, it's actually impacting the rate of loss of these very important end caps called telomeres on our DNA. And there's other aspects of aging, but I'll do other videos in that because I want to keep this relatively short. Number 4, kindness improves relationships. And that's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? Because you tend to like people who are kind to you. But one of the things kindness does is it helps us to form bonds and strengthens our relationships. And that makes the relationships more rewarding, more enjoyable, but also more resilient to, I guess, the waves of stuff that tend to happen in our life. So kindness actually strengthens our relationships. And the last general side effect is kindness is contagious. It literally causes a ripple effect that scientists have even measured out to what's called 3 degrees of separation. And what that means is if you're kind to someone, then that person will be kind or kinder to some other people who are at 1 degree of separation from you, who will then be kind to some other people who are at 2 degrees of separation from you, who will then be kind to some other people who are at 3 degrees of separation from you. Think about it. If you imagine that at each stage people were kind to 3 other people, then that would mean kindness, a single thing that you did, would impact 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27 people. If it was 4 at each stage, 4 times 4 times 4, you'd be impacting 64. If it was 5 at each stage, which I think is actually quite close to the average that you would get in society, then it's 5 times 5 times 5. And one tiny wee act of kindness impacts 125 people. Isn't that absolutely incredible? And in this video, I also wanted to give a wee shout out to a charity called 52 Lives that I am associated with. I'm their honorary scientific advisor. And this week, I had the great privilege of being one of the judges for the Kind Schools Award. Now, 52 Lives, they get their name from the fact that they help someone in need through public acts of kindness 52 weeks of the year. So, they might post like I remember one of the weeks fairly recently, a woman who'd been subject to domestic abuse had fled in the middle of the night with her child, and the local council had put them up in a house that had no furniture. And Jamie, the CEO of the charity, put out a call on social media, and local tradespeople had offered to do wee bits to fix up the house, and other people donated furniture, other people donated money. But this happens every week, and everybody pulls together and provides whatever a person or a young family actually needs. So they do it for 52 people or 52 families every week of the year, hence 52 Lives. But they also do a lot of work in schools, and they go into schools, Jamie and her husband Greg and some of the team, and they've literally help to create cultures of kindness in schools, to create kindness programs in schools so that children learn what kindness is. What does it mean to be a good person, and what does that look like? If you're being kind, if you're receiving kindness, what does it look like in the community? Also, embedding kindness as practices within the school, and also for supporting staff as well, and even impacting on the community. It's an amazing thing. So I was one of the judges going through this. And what really, really struck me, and I sent a message to Jamie afterwards, just because it really landed big with me, that over the last few years, they've literally taught, or the programs have impacted over 250,000 children, just in the UK alone. I think that's absolutely extraordinary. And what I think really hit home for me is There's an immediate impact to kindness. It shapes our environment, it shapes our health. The body doesn't stay neutral when you're kind, and it impacts our relationships. It creates a better culture in schools. We know that. It creates a better culture in companies. Companies that have kind cultures retain staff better. People want to work there when they're treated with respect and kindness. They're trusted, they're empowered. It's a great place. Creates better communities. This is all a no-brainer. But it also struck me, these kids, you know, from the age, 4 right up to maybe 10, 15, teenagers as well, in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, these, at the moment it's 250,000, but this is happening every year. These kids are going to be leaders, shaping, making important decisions in industry and government, and others just quietly working in the background, just changing community, impacting communities through the quality of person they've learned to become. The impact of kindness in the future will be absolutely significant. And I think if we keep educating children about what kindness is, what does it look like, what does it feel like, how important it is, how it can make a difference at such a young age, and keep working on that, these will be the leaders of our future. And that, I think, that long-term effect is what we should have in the back of our minds. You know, if we teach children now to be kind and what it means, they're going to be the ones shaping the society that everyone else steps into in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years or more. And I think we can, you know, teaching children now, I think, can help us all to have, everyone to have a better life, a better world in the future. That's why I love what 52 Lives are doing, not just for their weekly changing someone's life, but for their work that they're doing in schools as well, to educate children and create these cultures in the schools. So anyway, I just wanted to leave you with another lasting thought, that given how big kindness is, the impact it has on our biology, the impact it can have on our communities, it's easy to assume that this means we have to make grand gestures, but it's actually not. The most powerful acts really are the little things that we do, because these are the things we do most often. Nature rewards consistency, especially when it comes to biology, but it's consistency that shape young minds, isn't it? And it's consistency that shapes society, not one-off events. One-off events are wonderful, grand gestures are amazing, but the consistent little things that matter, you know, showing someone some support, encouraging someone, practicing patience, listening to someone, just being present for someone in meaningful ways, offering someone a genuine compliment, helping someone in a small way just because you're there and you can. It's all these little things that present themselves to us every day. These are the things that matter, and I think these are the things that change the world in the long term. So anyway, just to summarise, I just wanted to talk about kindness today because 52 weeks, it's funny I'm talking about the charity 52 Lives, I just made that connection. McFly. But, you know, that 52 weeks worth of Better You Backed by Science emails. If you've been tuning into these emails or watching these videos, thank you so much for being part of the journey, and I'm looking forward to the next 52 weeks worth of emails and 52 YouTube videos as well, or maybe 50, depends how busy I get with other things, but I'll do my best to do 52. So wherever you are in the world, be kind. It's almost always the right thing to do.